in places of relative stability. And they are asking for our assistance. Unfortunately, the debate over whether to assist people in camps or whether to assist with returns has become very controversial, and a lot of people are extremely nervous about engaging in assistance to returns because they see that as being complicit with the government. The government would like to see the emptying of the camps. They would like to see people returning to their areas. But I would say that quite irrespective of whatever agenda the government may have, we need to have our own agenda. And our agenda must be based on the welfare of the people themselves. There are people in camps who want to stay in camps and want assistance and protection in those camps. There are also people in those camps who are basically being held hostage by a politicized camp leadership that do not want those people to leave those camps and are willing to intimidate those people into staying in those camps. And some of the camp leadership, when I was in Kalma a few months ago, they told us not one displaced person in this camp will leave here until we see Bashir hanging from a tree. And they will not allow these people to leave. So we need to face up to this phenomenon that there are people who want to return and there are people who want to stay in camps. We also need to face up to the phenomenon that we're very good at assisting people in camps and we're very bad at assisting those that return. Peter and I were both in Darfur 2 weeks ago when we went to one of these return areas. My colleague in Ocha didn't want to come with us. He said to me, Mark, last time I went to see those displaced people, I felt ashamed to be UN. We go there and sit and look at these people, but we're not willing to dig boreholes for those people and provide them with seeds and tools and basic assistance that they're asking us for. We are very good at sustaining people in these camps. We're very nervous and hesitant about engaging in the broader problems of the chronic vulnerability in Darfur and assisting people who are willing and who want to return to these remote rural areas. Finally, I realize I need to bring my end quickly. Just finally, I wanted to make a few remarks about the operating environment. And this is where the point I want to make is that I think we need to be more clever in the way we approach the aid operation in Darfur. The government, as you know, are very clever. A lot of the local authorities are very clever. We need to be more clever. It is a very difficult place to operate. Kidnappings going on, carjackings, insecurity, harassment of aid workers, intimidation, expulsions, non-issuance of visas, and all of this leads to extreme frustration amongst a lot of the aid workers on the ground in Darfur. But we need to understand, I think, better what all of this is about. We, the aid workers in the international community, are to a large extent seen as the enemy. We are seen as a hostile force which is only there to report to the ICC and to build a genocide case against the government. And recent remarks from Ocampo to the UN Security Council did not help when he said that my information comes directly from organizations operating on the ground in Darfur at this moment. So the government said, voila, it's what we tell you all the time. They see us as hostile to the government. They also see us as being pro-camps and anti-returns, because our machine is pro-camps, and we are not very good at assisting with the returns. I think if we want to be more successful in operating in Darfur, we need to address this, the reasons for that hostility towards us. And we have been trying in recent months through joint committees and so forth to to build more confidence and to be more credible, and to let it be known that we are not actually there to build the genocide case. We are not there simply to support people in camps. We are not anti-returns. But we need to be better at getting this message across. We need to show that we are willing and wanting to be part of the solution in Darfur and not part of the problem. And that then just leads me to my concluding remark, which is to say that I think we also need to be a little bit more humble in our own approach in Darfur. When we talk about access, we need to be looking at how people can have access to assistance and protection. We should not only be talking about how we can have access for Westerners to carry on a Western aid program, which is very much needing to be adapted. Alex Duval, from his long experience with aid programs, once wrote a paper talking about the tyranny of aid. And I think we have to be we should be honest about a lot of the arrogance of aid in that part of the world, and we should look more carefully at how we can adapt our programs to assist people, not just in camps, but while helping these people in camps, we must look at how we can also assist those who want to return, and if we do not do this, I think we're also going to have a very lame aid operation in Darfur, because when those 80,000 newly displaced people arrived in Zamzam recently, we were not very effective in helping these people, because we are thoroughly overstretched in Darfur at the moment. If we're going to be able to help people better, we need to refocus what we do, rationalize what we do. A lot of these people now in camps in the cities are basically living in urban areas, and the aid workers on the ground themselves will tell you, I don't know why we're still feeding all these people. We could address this phenomenon that a lot of these people have basically become part of this longer-term urbanization phenomenon in Darfur. We could take a lot of these people off aid so that we can focus our efforts better to assisting the most vulnerable. Thank you.
Need to do some technical work. First of all, I'd like to thank the organizers, moderator, for allowing me to present today. Just to define what we're going to talk about a bit, there are instances of protracted displacement in South Sudan. There are people who are displaced in South Sudan have been displaced for a long period of time. There are around the Lord's Resistance Army in Western Equatoria State. There is instances of fairly protracted displacement. There are groups from Darfur who have been displaced in Western Barghazal for some period of time, but they are relatively low in number. And the focus for today's meeting is, in fact, the returnees, or what I'll speak about today is, in fact, the returnees from the north, so the kind of end of protracted displacement, I suppose. I would like to repeat what Mark mentioned, highlighted about the connection between humanitarian and political issues, stability issues. I think in no instance more than in the return instance, this is a key point. We should not forget that the SPLM is in a very fragile condition in the south.